Good morning to every one of you. And let me, in the spirit of all of the celebrations that we have had, wish you a productive Monday, but also productive Tuesday. But of course, as we continue in our celebration of all of the wonderful achievements, the Juju Vibe, the St. Lucian Kings, and all of I think there was an OECS pageant. And of course, in winning ways and in a winning spirit. And of course, I've been out for some time, but of course, in that whole spirit, I won and I'm back on my feet again, stronger, and of course, to continue the work that we've started. This morning, I just need to share, or to clarify an issue on public assistance that is probably out there. You would have heard a number of persons asking questions or persons querying as to why I was removed on public assistance. I'm not getting the money that I used to get. The recertification of the public assistance program, where we have about 3,000 plus persons receiving monthly support from the government at annual cost of approximately $10 million. There's also an amount of 1,500 persons who want to be on the program, but of course you do not have the fiscal space to bring them on. Revealed in the recertification that you have approximately 700 persons who ought not to be on the program because they do not qualify. Now, in that kind of work, whether it's in the US, where you have safety net programs, you always have errors of inclusion and errors of omission. In this case, you have a significant error of inclusion. We do not have the names of these individuals to give out, or there's a gap in the data. So one of the things that we did is to if you can, and just to clarify, we only have 181 contact numbers of persons we can reach, of persons who ought not to be on the program. We also are aware of other situations where persons who have passed, somebody is collecting on their behalf, and we've had to take action. I could speak personally. Somebody came to me and said, yes, that's the situation. I was still collecting on my grandmother's behalf, and she passed. We stopped it. So what we had to do was to say, if we cannot get in touch with you, and you're supposed to be collecting, let us stop it and wait for you to come forward, just to ensure that the persons who really need the support is actually getting it. So you would be really saying to the general public, if for one reason or the other you were supposed to receive your assistance and you're not, just contact us. If you miss a month, we will do it retroactively. But we want to ensure that persons who are supposed to receive the monthly support from taxpayers are the right persons receiving it. This is what we're trying to honor, and not just to allow things to go on. This is a program that's running on for a very long time, and therefore the errors, has been there for a long time. But we are working hard to correct it. Each one of you here would want to know that the person receiving the public assistance are persons who are, deserving of it, and not somebody that is placed there for one reason or the other. One of the points that I've made in time past, and I think it's worth mentioning again, there are persons with hardship in their lives. They have problems. Not because somebody have hardship in their life means that they must be on public assistance. Not because somebody is out of a job and is a single mother means that you must be on public assistance. You may be qualified for something else, but public assistance is targeting individuals who are indigent because it's not for everybody who has crisis in their lives. There's no way you can have a safety net program that can incorporate all problems, all social ills, and that the government will dish out monies to address it. So sometimes when I hear from persons, and even my colleagues would say, Minister, I have a situation there, that person deserves me. No. Yes, the situation is bad. Yes, the persons need intervention. Yes, the person needs some support. It can be support for a month, support for a few months, but public assistance, to be on public assistance, receiving that support monthly until you die, so to speak, it is for circumstances that warrant the intervention is necessary. So a 21-year-old, a young person, I've seen persons report the early 20s. How did that person get on public assistance? How was the person assessed to be on public assistance? Well, the person may have had an early pregnancy, a child, and whatever. Of course, the person needs support, but that does not qualify to be on public assistance. So some of what you're hearing, and even with the disabilities, the persons with disabilities, we need to understand that whereas the law allows for persons receiving the disability, it's up to 18, but not all disability situation is in a vulnerable household. So, for example, a household with two parents working, maybe another sibling working, may have a child who is disabled. The child is qualified. But if you're applying a household support, you assessing the household, you could see that the income of that household can mitigate the situation and allow for a child, probably where you have a single parent, where you have a disabled child to receive, as against giving every child, and you do not have money to give every child. So we are working towards improving and ensuring that our targeting of persons receiving public assistance is done properly, is done through the principle of social justice. That is what we're doing. Yes?
Can you provide me a brief recap, please, since I arrived late, if you don't mind? Brief, the Holy Spirit.
Yes, well, let me repeat myself. I'm responding to the fact that some persons are complaining that they're not receiving or they have stopped their public assistance. And I was making the point that there are approximately 3,000 plus persons on public assistance. The assessment of that group indicate that you have approximately 700 persons who ought not to be. And that means they're not qualified, but somehow they got themselves there. Maybe when they went in, they were in a situation, but the situation has improved. We're saying that we need to remove these individuals to allow for 1,500 persons who want to come on, but we do not have the fiscal space. In doing so, sometimes we cannot reach these individuals. And there are situations, a lot of persons know why you're receiving public assistance, but I cannot receive you, and you ought not to receive. So one of the things that we've chosen is like we stop the payment and hoping that the person would come forward, and if you're deserving of it, you will get it retroactive. But we cannot not have contact for you. You change your location, you change your telephone number, but we're supposed to receive you, give you a monthly amount, you're getting it through the bank, but we do not, we lose track of you. So we stop, we would say, okay, let us stop the payment so that the person come forward. You know? Yeah?
Can you just tell us about this? We're just concerned about your health issue and what can you tell? Were you on vacation?
No, I was on sick leave for about a month. I have nothing life-threatening. I am extremely okay, well, and it is, according to my doctor, I have no life-threatening situation. I'm alive and well, and I've enjoyed the rest that doctor insisted on, and I'm back on my feet. I tell you, take care of yourselves and rest, and do the same that I'm doing there right now, and you'll feel good.
The opposition has been planning and saying that you're not ready and you may not run because of your health issue. What would you say to them?
Well, they're not God. They're not doctors, but I hope everybody just remain well. You know, when election calls, the Prime Minister calls election, you know, and if it's call it today, my hands up to run, and I will run with all of the fervor and passion that I did in time past. Not much to say about that part of the politics, but I'm thanking God that I'm alive, I'm well, and the rest did me well, you know. So one of the things that I've gotten, a deep appreciation for rest. I started my life very early, from primary school days, and all I know is to play and work. You know, but after when you reach 60 years, you know, and all you've done is play football and just work and play, the body says, no, you need to chill a little. So I born in 1965. I'm probably much older than a lot of you. Oh yeah, you know. So I'm good enough. I'm good enough. Yeah, good enough.
Before you go, Minister, minimum wage is in effect. How do you anticipate the impact of the new minimum wage on your ministry's efforts to poverty reduction? And would it have any kind of impact on the public assistance?
The principle there is social justice. As a country, the various rungs of development, the various levels, and we continue to move the country forward. And the Prime Minister, in establishing minimum wage, the only thing you could do is to build upon it, and that's the beauty of it. We didn't have it before. What we're saying is that there is an amount that is established by which you must pay somebody. And then the persons who participated, the union, the trade unions and professionals, took a lot into consideration. This would impact in fact, in calculating the minimum wage, they would have used data from our country poverty survey. So the poverty line, which is approximately $500 per month for indigent family, or that would have been considered by the professionals in arriving at a minimum wage. So certainly, if we were doing a country poverty survey today, the minimum wage as a data would actually provide guidance in measuring how well persons are doing, how well they're able. So it is useful for us to have a minimum wage at this time, and it will help those persons assessing vulnerability in a more accurate, based on our internal data.
In your, a note came out from your office about the after-school program. Can you give us an update on that? How's it going so far?
The after-school program, we've made some changes this year because we implemented the program. I personally felt that the program should be more grassroots, and that the program should allow for children, the beneficiaries, more children to impact, as against spending funds on consultancies and supervision, but the children are not there. So as well as the feeding arrangements and what have you. So this was the focus, community-based. So where we have young persons involved in the community, or persons engaged in the community, already implementing an after-school program, and they were feeding the children with the pizzas, locally made pizzas. Do not disrupt that and go and pay any high-level restaurant to feed the children for after school. Get other inputs so that you add value on what the children are receiving in terms of the experience for after school. Yeah?
Thank you very much, Minister.
Yes.
That's it, Minister.
That's it. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody. Of course, another historic weekend for St. Lucia. Johnson Charles, Akim Ogis, Shadrach Descartes, McKenny Clark, 4 players in St. Lucia team. They pretty much did very well for the entire tournament, but it culminated with our first ever CPL victory after 10 seasons. I feel there were other individuals that need special recognition, the likes of John Eugene from Kaiserberg Rosalie. He, for the first time, was employed by the St. Lucia Kings to be the fielding coach. And I think it goes without saying that this has been our best year in the field by far. Catches were taken. We saw extra effort in terms of preventing boundaries. And I just think that he made a huge contribution to the overall success of the team. We have a high performance center that is doing very well. We, as a St. Lucia nation, can boast of 7 players, including 2 females, being considered professionals, being paid as professionals on the global level, a first for St. Lucia in our history. And so there's a lot going on in cricket development that we could be proud of. And I just think St. Lucia continues to enjoy a very successful, and I dare say the best year in sport. Questions?
How are we doing for the Kings victory?
It's unfortunate that this is a cabinet briefing. So had it been post, I'd have been able to answer that question with a high level of authority. As you know, cabinet would sit down and opine on most of those things. And when we do meet in the next 10 minutes, as the Minister for Youth Development and Sport, that would be my main item on the agenda. And thereafter, we will be deciding exactly what we do, if we do more than what we've already done, especially for the local cricketers. So I think by tomorrow, we should be seeing some information, and hopefully we could have that clear for everybody to see.
In terms of, you kind of alluded a little bit to the development of the young cricketers. We saw like the likes of Akim Ogis being featured in almost every game for the Kings. Speak to the importance of this experience for them.
I was indeed very impressed, and I think at the end of the day, people always speak about ministers traveling, especially when it comes to sport, as if you go there on a butter. I will say that I love sport, so anybody who flashes a camera on me while sport is taking place will see somebody who's jubilant and enjoying himself. But the fact of the matter is, I play an observer role first. I listen to what the coaches, the administrators have to say about especially the development of the sport and the development of our athletes. And I can tell you, for instance, McKinney Clark, young prospect, perhaps the fastest bowler on the St. Lucia Kings team, was not actually given an opportunity to play. But if you listen to the coaches and the administrators, they tell you that McKinney perhaps is one of the most gifted players and talented in terms of his mental strength, his attitude, his approach to training, his improvement throughout the year. But it's just unfortunate that this year, unfortunate for him, we had the strongest bowling team and he wasn't able to penetrate in terms of getting playing time. But he has done very well. Akim Ogis, we see his maturation. We see him playing a final. I mean, a year ago, you would not have imagined that, Akim Ogis, former West Indies captain, young, everybody says he's small, not as strong as other players, would be playing a final, and he actually did very well. So throughout the tournament, we've been seeing flashes of brilliance from him, and we can definitely look at him as a prospect in terms of leading the team one day. I know one day Akim Ogis will be captain of the St. Lucia Kings. Shadrach Descat from Monrepo, very, very good outing for him, and just before I came on, Jeremiah Norbert, his parliamentary rep, said he knew that St. Lucia Kings were going to win because they played St. Lucians for the entire tournament. And he's one of those that got an opportunity to play and be part of a professional setup. And I think that augured very, very well. Of course, Johnson Charles, we know, stood out. He did very well. He had the most runs in the tournament for St. Lucia. And again, he's actually developed his play by adding different strokes that you would not think at 45 that he would have been able to actually harness and develop further. So very satisfied.
Just wanted an update on Kimani Melville's. Since we last spoke about him last week, what has happened? What is fine?
Okay, so let me say it this way. Individual athletes in St. Lucia, I can say as the Minister of Sport, has been, and I would wish that journalists would actually get the actual athlete to speak, because most times the belief is you need to go straight to the top. Individual athletes have agents, especially when you get to a level where you are considered professional, as Akim has. And the agents would definitely be the ones to negotiate contracts, to negotiate appearances, to negotiate commercials. And the information that I have was that a contract was negotiated for him to go to the Zimbabwe T10 League. Unfortunately, in a conversation with Alton Crafton, who is his coach and mentor for a number of years, he explained that the value of the contract and the cost of the flight were very, very similar. And from my information, the team decided that given the cost, that they were not able to bring on Kimani Melius to play that tournament. Of course, information gathered suggested that Kimani was willing to, get some money together to pay for the flight. But again, the value of him coming there from the team's perspective, given the fact that they did have players within their ambit to play the tournament, they further went on to tell to Kimani that, in no other way to say it elegantly, that his services were not required. That is the information I have from Alton Crafton. And so he was not able to play the T10 competition. The team went on to win the competition, and he moved on, came back to the High Performance Center, where he is training currently right now.
Okay. With regards to the Cricket Premier League, what can you tell us?
The SPL?
The SPL.
Yeah. Well, we have been looking for a window to host this competition in St. Lucia. We have a situation where we do not have enough venues, and we have a lot of sporting activities happening in St. Lucia. Right now, the Denry playing field, in terms of the stands, is pretty much complete for football, and so we have to move into a proper dressing room construction and toilet facilities. And so we're hoping that by next year, this entire facility will be ready for football, which would free up some other facilities for, cricket activities. The Minuville Park, of course, has been earmarked for lights for a while now. We are hoping that the lights should be complete in the Minuville Park by the end of October. So that will be another facility available for cricket. The Grosley playing field is scheduled to be complete by the end of November. Another facility available for cricket. The Wen playing field lighting program should be complete next month. And so cricket will see the availability of venues for their tournaments. We are looking at the window between January and April next year. It is going to be a cricket legacy sort of competition, T20 World Cup legacy, where the government is going to be financing some of that competition in terms of compensation for players. And we're just looking forward to continuing the conversation and setting up a proper fixture. I will say that a lot of our cricketers are very, very enthusiastic about the tournament because they are playing more cricket than ever in the history of St. Lucia, and they are willing to show the rest of the world their talents and capabilities.
Minister, but how you tell people, when will the St. Lucia Kings play a CPL final in St. Lucia?
Well, again, discussions at the cabinet level, discussions with the CPL, the hierarchy of CPL ongoing. We are looking forward to having it as soon as possible. We saw some communique come out that next year's final would be in Guyana. That has not been communicated to me as yet. But we've shown that wherever the matches are held, St. Lucia, is very, very capable of coming out on top. We're certainly hoping to have CPL finals at the Darren Sammy Cricket Grounds. I think we are in a position economically to actually host it, and that is another discussion we will be having at cabinet moving forward. Yeah?
Thank you.
All right, cool.
Hi, good morning. See, you have some new ladies. Miss, what's your name? From? Choice. And Miss?
That's a new
You-
Chrissy Baking on 17.
Oh, you've changed.
Switch.
All right. Come straight. I'll just take the questions straight away.
That's Lisa hiding in the back there.
Yeah, hi, Miss Joseph. How are you?
Good morning. Not hiding at all.
I didn't know you spoke to low-profile people like me. I thought I was speaking to big leaders of the opposition, and I didn't know you spoke to low-profile people like me. And welcome.
I have to keep pushing because
Welcome.
you do not
Welcome.
accept my invite.
Welcome. No. We're friends. I always tell you that. We're friends a long time.
And that's why you're not accepting my
I always tell you that. You might want to people know it, but we're friends. Yes. Let's go.
Yes, I'm like, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. PM, I just want to speak to you about your meeting with the Diaspora. How did that go? What were some of your talking points? And yeah, let's tell us a little bit about it.
Well, first of all, the meeting was not a political meeting. It was a meeting with the Prime Minister and members of the diaspora, actually a conversation with the diaspora. There were two other ministers present, the Minister for Health and the Minister of External Affairs. Wide-ranging, the diaspora, it was actually well attended. The entire room was packed to capacity, upstairs and downstairs and outside. It was actually where we spoke about the developments in St. Lucia. What was significant is I invited them to fact-check me. And every step of the way, I invited them to fact-check me. And we had some good questions. The diaspora seems to to be very pleased with what's happening in our country. I told them about the increase in pensions. I told them about the minimum wage. I told them about work at St. Jude. I told them about the infrastructural developments, the investments in tourism. And we had a very good conversation. It was fulfilling, it was fruitful. And I think the diaspora, they wanted some clearance on some of the things they were hearing. And I did my best. Example, they weren't aware that every CIP passport is done by the passport department. That they weren't aware of that at all. They didn't realize that St. Lucian passports and CIP passports are done in the same place. They never knew that. It was surprising the amount of misinformation that's going around. They thought that the CIP unit had a group of passports themselves in the room and just give it. They never knew that. They never understood that the CIP passport and the St. passport, they're done by the same person, by the same clerk. The NIC card is given by the NIC department. So they weren't aware. So they finally dawned to them that it's almost impossible that anybody could have given 56,000 passports. It was impossible because exact words would have to be written at the immigration department. So it was very, very interesting. I was very pleased with that discussion, very pleased. And I think that many things got cleared. So when you hear the criticism was my socks, you can understand that many things got cleared.
The opposition was listening to the Diaspora meeting, and I think you referenced Julian Alfred as a little black girl. And
What?
No. It wasn't the premise.
There was a whole
Wasn't the
thing
premise.
about playing the race card and you calling yourself.
Which
a
meeting?
black
Which
black
meeting?
boy.
Which meeting? Which meeting?
The Diaspora meeting.
Could you
But he
please,
clarified
could
that
you
in the-
please pay the tape? I'll tell you something. I have challenged you. I have challenged the opposition to play the tapes of what this I say. Play it. I've challenged them, It's an open challenge. And, I'll tell you something. Let me tell you the problem. The problem with me is that they can only speculate about me. But they cannot bring the proof. I have challenged them to bring a tape and say, I said so. They can't. I'll tell you something. I've never, in any speech I've made, ever referred to anybody's color. And I defy anyone to show tape I said so. Defy them. I've also said, if anybody can prove that I ever gave anybody a passport, I'll resign. If anybody can prove that Philip Joseph Pierre was ever involved in giving anyone a passport, CIA passport, I will resign. That's a challenge.
Presently, we have the wall looking down in the Middle East.
So hold on, let me finish. So what did I say? What did I say?
Well, they had a whole discussion about the race card being.
A discussion where?
There was a meeting, a roundtable discussion about the whole topic. So you can listen to it.
No, I don't. You see, I tell you something. I have so many exciting things to do for this country. So many things are happening that are exciting me. I don't have time. I don't have time to listen to propaganda and misinformation. If someone said that in New York, any reference was made by the Labour Party to race, that is desperation. And what concerns me is the attempt to destroy this country. Because you cannot burn the house to kill a rat. Because if you burn the house and you kill the rat, you have to rebuild the house. The people of St. Lucia will have a choice to decide in 2026 who they want to elect into government. And my position has always been clear. I've been in opposition, and it's not a nice place to be. But I've taken my time. And look at my history. Look at my history. So all these lies and these things, I mean, that never happened. And I want you also to play the tape to say where that ever came. But is this constant lies and misinformation. You understand? I'll tell you something. I want you to read a book called The Ministry of Truth. And you will see where that is coming from. It's a concerted attempt to just make your own history. So you say something long enough, people will believe. So nobody was there, so they say, I said so. But they can never. I defy them. We can play tapes of what they say. I defy them to play any tape that says Philip Joseph Pierre has ever spoken about race in a political platform. If I speak about race, I speak about race in a generic sense and in a truthful sense. I have said it's no offense to say you're black. Why do you think it's an offense? It happens every day in the U.S. But right now, because of our hypocrisy, we pretend that it's an offense to say someone is black. Why are we doing ourselves that? I have also said that Haiti is a country that we should not say that we are ashamed to be from it. I've said so. I've said Haiti has its problems, but the problem with Haiti is Haiti was the first country in the world to liberate slavery. I've also said Haiti had a policy, once a slave reaches in Haiti, they become a free man. And I said we have to be proud of this country for that, in spite of the issues. That's what I've said. And these are facts. So all the propaganda and all the misinformation, you understand? And I'm very happy you as a young journalist are asking me these questions before you go and report it. I appreciate that.
Okay, morning, sir. Presently, we see war looking down in the Middle East, Iran.
One day you'll blame me for that, right?
No, I'm not blaming you.
I thought you blamed me for it.
No, I'm blaming you for that. I don't think you. I'm just asking you, with the gas prices as we were for a lot of countries down there, will that really affect us? And if it does, how do you intend to go forward? Because in the end of the day, it's going to affect us.
First of all, I'm very pleased that the strike that the strike that has been planned, the strike that has caused a problem, the port strike, that has been resolved at least till January. I'm very pleased about it. That would have caused us untold harm in St. Lucia, which of course they would blame me for. But I'm very pleased that that strike did not take place. The war in the Middle East is frightening. Again, situation I have absolutely no control over. I hope that good sense prevails. St. Lucia's position on that is there should be a two-state solution. The right of the Israelis and the right of Palestinians to exist in two separate states has been our position. But we have as a small country, we have absolutely no control over that. Just have to hope for the best.
Is that really what you want to ask?
Yes.
You sure you want to ask about the ultimatum, the November 1st ultimatum imposed by the opposition?
He could answer that too.
I don't get involved with ultimatum.
Okay, so my final question to
yes.
You. We just saw St. Lucia Kings coming.
I forgot to say.
Right.
Yeah. You see?
I know right here you said that we'll have a holiday.
I didn't say so. No.
No.
Don't misquote me.
I'm asking, we on a roll. Can we see?
St. Lucia, I'll tell you something. There's a deliberate attempt to dampen the spirit of St. Lucia. A deliberate attempt to dampen it, to spread bad news, to deal with issues. But St. Lucia, I want to congratulate the Kings. Very happy for them. In fact, the Kings is actually a franchise. So it's not a St. Lucian team, it's a franchise. There are, I think, 4 or 5 St. Lucians on the team. Congratulate them, it's good for us. The name of St. Lucia, very good for us. Congratulations to them. Yes.
Thank you very much. Prime Minister,
yes.
Have you been briefed on the situation regarding BMAX, Clarion BMAX LLC?
Have I been briefed? Yeah, I've been briefed, yeah. I've been briefed by the minister.
Can you divulge to us
let me explain to you what the minister told me. The minister said to me that one of the principals in the firm got himself arrested for smuggling cigarettes. That's what I was told. Happened in January, and there's a 6 months for him to be charged. And as far as I was told he's not been charged. That means the case has just dropped. But before he did that, he had already given up his shares in BMAX. That's all I've been told. Well, I can tell
He
you,
has given up his shares in
he sold it. He said he's given up his shares in BMAX, so he's no longer involved in BMAX. The person was in question. That's what I've been told.
But he's registered here as a sole director for BMAX Caribbean.
What I was told is that the gentleman, in the meantime, has given up his shares when he got himself involved with the law. But it's 6 months, and there's been no case laid against him. That's what I've been told.
And this is enough for you to continue with
Yes,
the project?
because what's interesting to me is the poor people who need housing, not foreign people who are involved in their issues. What's important to me is to house the people of St. Lucia. That's what's important to me. And what's important to me is when the due diligence of the money that comes has been cleared by the bank. That's all that interests me. Once the money that comes here has been cleared by the bank, Lisa. Because the money doesn't just come here, it's cleared by the bank. And once money is cleared by the bank, I am comfortable with it.
So you have no concerns that the due diligence process did not unearth anything?
That is not true. That is not true. At the time when the due diligence process was done, there was nothing, as far as my information tells me, there was nothing on the guy.
So Interpol, Europol,
I don't.
those
You see,
organizations.
you using this big. I tell you something. Listen, I tell you something. You see, Lisa, they frighten us. Europol, Interpol. They frighten us with that, right? It's small island people. They frighten us with it. Listen to me. Every day in the U.S. there are RICO cases. Every day. Today they probably about 6 or 7. Every day there are RICO cases. Every day in the U.S. there are cases of businessmen going up and down court, civil matters. But they frighten us. They frighten you, and they frighten us with all these cases. So we were supposed to be scared. Listen, what's important to us, Lisa, is to develop this country. What's important to me is that St. Lucia has a housing deficit. A housing deficit that has not been handled properly. And what's important to me is, as Prime Minister, I will work to help to solve this housing deficit.
What is the criteria
So,
for developers?
I'm very happy that we have started the Rockall project. We hope to start another one at Bonte, at Belvedere. We hope to start another one in Grove. That's all interesting, and I'm very happy, and these are progressing. All the rest is for law enforcement. I'll tell you something. If there is any case against anybody, including me, let the police arrest me. I have put myself up to that, I have said to you, all these issues that have been raised, arrests are imminent. Arrest. Go and arrest. Why the speculation? You in court, let the court deal with it. Arrest those be arrested. Bring anyone to justice. That's my position. Apart from that, only what I want to do, I want to develop this country.
So an applicant for for citizenship, if that individual were to have been arrested and flagged to be charged for some serious crimes, would that applicant be granted citizenship?
If the due diligence flags this applicant, he will not be allowed citizenship. That is what, and the due diligence, Lisa, is not done by me, not done by us. It's done by an international due diligence firm. It's not done by us. We're not the ones to do it.
And you don't think it's important enough for the government to say that we will wait?
Wait for what? Wait for what?
Or pivot from this
Pivot for what? For what? For what?
So you don't believe that
for
there's
what?
an issue?
Pivot for what? Pivot for what? Tell me. Explain to me.
You don't believe that there's an
Explain
issue
to me.
with BMAX?
Explain to me what you want me to pivot from. Explain to me. If you tell me, I'll give you. What do you want me to tell me? So you wanted me, you didn't want us to start the housing project. Is that what you wanted?
I'm not commenting on what your policy is. I'm
Okay.
asking.
My policy is any investor who has cleared the due diligence process and who has the funds will be allowed to work in St. Lucia. Any developer. Once, get me right? Once he has cleared the due diligence process, not from opinions of blog writers. Once he has cleared the due diligence process. Let me tell you the due diligence process. Local due diligence, FIU, international due diligence, interview, and the bank's portal. 5 steps. Once that has been cleared, I have no problems. Once that has been cleared, I'm comfortable.
Okay, let's just move away. So Jerry,
Um,
just 1 second.
Pardon me.
Hold on.
Pardon me, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
But if the Prime Minister would indulge me, I'd have 1 or 2 further questions.
Is it other reporters in the room who have?
Thank you
asked
very
questions
much,
as well?
Mr. Isidore. If the Prime Minister
Go ahead,
gets to
go ahead,
indulge me,
Lisa. We're not fighting.
I
Go
will-
ahead.
I mean, no,
Why are we
I-
always fighting, St. Lucia? We're not so fighting. Let's go ahead. I'm not
never-
angry. I'm not calling for war. Let's go.
No, am I?
I'm not angry. I don't want. I'm mafashi. I'm very happy about St. Lucia. Let's go. Let's go. I'm not vexed.
2 more questions.
I'm very pleased. You see, I'm so happy about St. Lucia. St. Lucia is such on a good trajectory, Lisa. If you see young people lining up at the youth economy to go into their businesses, you've noticed work on the chaussee happening. You notice the local housing scheme is happening. You happen secrets is going to open in February. I'm so excited about St. Lucia. I'm so excited. So I'll entertain you for 2 days. Let's go.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yes,
Would
yes.
need to, though. With respect, just continue on the CIP, can you now confirm to us that Mr. McLeod Emmanuel indeed visited Washington, D.C.?
Mr. Goldman
And
is
did
an
he
adult.
visit
He's an adult.
Washington, D.C.
Ask
with
him.
your permission?
He's an adult. Ask him.
Can you confirm
He's an
to us
adult.
that
Ask
he
him. I don't
met
know.
with
Ask
Philip
him.
Martinez?
He is an adult.
And he held discussions
He
with other
is-
entities
he-
beside Philip Martinez?
He is an adult. Ask Mr. McLeod Emmanuel. What do you want to ask about him? I'm not answering for him.
Did he go to Washington, D.C. on
Ask-
official business accompanied by his wife?
Ask Mr. McLeod Emmanuel about he and his wife. He's a big man. The last time I saw him, he was a big man. Ask him.
Has he given you a full report coming back from
The
Washington,
last
D.C.?
time I saw McLeod, he was a big man. Ask him the questions you want to ask him.
All right. So Jerry,
Yes, Jerry. How you doing?
I think Jerry was asking about Machete. It was great.
No, I just want to ask him about the economy and what's happening because maybe we in October now and how what's
The economy is transitioning properly. There are still downside risks. The main downside risk is a climate event. That's a main downside risk. What's happening in Florida now. As I've told you many times before, I'm very concerned. That's what I lose sleep for. I don't lose sleep about the other things, the other excitement. I lose sleep about a hurricane. I've told you this before several times. I lose a lot of sleep about that. That's one. The second downside risk is what's happening in the international arena. Oil prices, the war in the Middle East. I lose a lot. I'm concerned about it. And the third one I'm concerned about is the gun violence. Apart from that, the economy is well on track. We're going to have the biggest cruise season ever, starting on Thursday. Our tourism numbers for August were higher than 2019. These are facts. Understand? The minimum wage is in effect. We've opened the minimum wage office to ensure that the minimum wage is followed. The office has been opened. Very excited about that. We are in negotiations with the public servants. The negotiations are going on very, very, very peacefully. We are hoping that we can continue the flow because I've asked the civil service, I've asked the negotiating team, see if we can expedite matters so we can get the negotiations completed. We have a mole problem. The Ministry of the new building, and I won't ask you, I won't tell you, I won't speculate as to how the mole got into the new building. If you find out, if you do your research and you find out who did, you see, I'll tell you something. I want to dive it a little bit. I'll tell you something. Sometimes I actually feel amused because, I have a country to run. Right? So I do not answer everything. When I hear people all in a sudden have got very sanctimonious and have got very, very, they've seen heaven, pious, they've seen the Lord. When I hear people who were in government, who they record their rap sheet is clear. When I hear these pronouncements, It doesn't bother me, you know. You know what I've told you what I lose sleep over. I've told you what I lose sleep over. So I am very comfortable with where the country is. I have told you the downside risks. We're working on the downside risks. 70 new police recruits are going to be out of training by the end of the year. So this can add to the police force. The police are going to get, by the way, 6 new ambulances are going to be delivered to the emergency people this week. 6 brand new ambulances. The police are going to get some new vehicles this week. The work on the Northern Division quarters is going on. We've just ordered the furniture for the Viewfort police station. That's happening. Repairs to every other police station are happening. Many other police stations, not every, happening. Marshall was completed. We're going to be doing some work in Marigo. We have issues in Ancillary. That work is happening. So our roads, the roads development has begun. You see work on the chaussee. What's happening on the chaussee is significant in that we are changing the pipes, the utility source. So what's happening now is we changing the pipes because you hear people complain as soon as roads are repaired, Wasco has to dig it. So what's happening now is they're changing all the pipes. So removing the pipes so we can have the road resurfaced, right? Work is going on in facilities. I want to tell you that we are building a diamond steel pan shell for the Diamond Steel Orchestra in Castries. So we can revive diamond steel, so we can revive steel band back, because Marshall was known for steel band, diamond steel orchestra. That's happening. I want to also tell you that work on the Marshall grounds. We are redoing the pavilion there. We've just completed work on the Minderfield Park. We're going to be starting work on 10 new sporting facilities. Work is happening on them. So a lot of things are happening. You understand? I've mentioned to you the investment in the hotel plant. So many things are happening. Work has started on the Pope side shopping complex. Work has started. You can go see for yourself. So things are. We're finalizing the plans for the House of Justice. Work should start there before the end of the year. So many things are happening, and these things are things you can go and see for yourself. So we're not speculating. We're not talking about they say, you say, he say. We're talking about tangible things that you can touch for yourself. The insolvency bill, 10 years in thing. We're giving businesses a fresh start. No pun intended. So these things are things that you can touch. The unemployment, lowest for a decade, first quarter employment, we intend to go down, we intend to decrease further. I've said to you that my aim is to have single-digit unemployment in this country. That's my aim. Youth unemployment from 40%, and now it's 18%, still too high. We want to bring it down. We want to see if we can reduce it. We're going to make greater investments in the youth economy. Things are not perfect. We never had a perfect country. But we're striving to put the country on a better footing. And I'm very happy with what's happening so far.
Prime Minister, I don't know if it's Jerry or who wanted to ask if you received 2 buckets of paint promised by the leader of the opposition. I think he's been watching HGTV lately, and he's into remodeling. Have you received any paint in your office?
Yeah, I'm a serious guy.
All right. I have a question about the scale of the halls of justice. Some people have queried as to whether it would be. I guess the question is whether it would be too big in that area.
Yes,
Could you comment on that?
Yeah, that comment, and this is decent. This is decent debate, decent discussion we can have. That's what the country must be about. The country must be about discussion, not bitterness and propaganda and misinformation. That's the discussion that we can have and we should have. I'll tell you something. That area was always for a court, always a court area. The building we that is intended to go there is a 5-story building, I think. All the courts are going there. We're using the extension, the old education department. There's some discussion that probably it may overshadow the church. But I'll tell you something. Go to every city in the world. City space is valuable space, right? Now, what we've done is we are in discussions to see if we can create enough buffer so both the church and the House of Justice can coexist. But the idea of a tall building, is something we have to deal with because of our development and because of the scarcity of space in Castries. But we hold discussions and we hope we can end up with a win-win situation. Everyone can be happy.
Where are we with the Custody Suites project?
The Custody subject, there were a series of unfortunate events. Number one, there was supposed to have the toilets, the special toilets. They got broken when they in shipping. My information is they were sent back to all the new ones, and then the other ones came and they sent back the same broken ones. So my information, you see, and a lot of these things are beyond our control. Not beyond our control, beyond the country's control. So I understand now the new set has arrived, and then there are special doors. These are arriving. So hopefully we should get their own. But there have been some delays, basically due to supply issues.
Okay. I want to go back to the discussion between you and Nessa. I just want
And
to
who?
clarify one thing.
Mm-hmm.
In regarding to BMAX, you did say that the principal, the person at the center of the controversy, he's no longer principal.
That's what I understand, yes.
So BMAX Caribbean Corporation here, that was registered here, he is the sole director. So who is that new person then if he is not?
Let me explain something to you.
If he's not the principal anymore.
Let me explain something to you. I've told everybody that wants to hear. The process of getting investors in this country is clear. They have to go through a due diligence process. I've told you, once the due diligence can find anything that is not to the benefit of the people of St. Lucia or to the reputation of St. Lucia, action is going to be taken. As far as what you're telling me is concerned, my understanding is that guy is no longer part of that organization.
Yes, I understand, which is why I'm asking you to just you said that he's no longer.
That's my understanding.
Yeah, but here in St. Lucia, where BMAX LLC Caribbean is registered, he's the sole principal.
Oh, he still is?
No, I'm saying when he made the deal here with us and all and whatnot, he was and is the sole director. So since he is no longer associated with BMAX, who is the director of BMAX now? In St. Lucia, who is the director now?
The director would have been had to be somebody else.
But do you know who the person is?
No, I don't.
You don't know who the person
is.
Is it information that can be shared with
Of course,
the media?
of course. I mean, you can ask the CIP people. You can ask the minister. He'll tell you. It's a public document. These are not secret, you know. It's in the registry.
How did BMAX begin its relationship with St. Lucia?
I don't know.
Do you know the introduction?
No, I don't know. I don't know about how Galaxy began in St. Lucia. Yeah. Question. Yeah, go ahead.
No,
That's it?
Oh, that's it.
That's it?
Right, yes, sir.
Okay.